Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RIP Sleep. With me, as always, we have Robert,
Hello, everybody.
and I am Travis. We are your horror fanatics of the day that you choose to listen to for some unknown reason. Uh, in case you can't tell, depending on where you are listening or watching, there's a video component to this episode for the first time ever. We are doing a tier list today of horror villains, and we're going to build off that. Plus, we're also doing this because it's going to kind of make it a little bit easier for us to choose what movies we're going to talk about next.
That's very true. That's very true.
So we got a little list here. I got some lists, or I got some pictures. Obviously, some of them, and by some of them, I think literally one we have already talked about. Uh, Maybe two.
Uh,
Because we've obviously already done Art the Clown. Uh,
yeah, we talked about art. I think.
I think he might be the only one on this list that we have already done.
Yeah, Art the Clown is the only one we've talked about.
I know that we've talked about other ones in passing. And For those who are watching, and Robert, I know that you can see, we have two Pennywises on here because I want uh, your opinion on both Pennywises.
Okay. Okay.
So I feel like we can kind of get this started off pretty simple. I say that we wait for the big guys, like the ones that are up in the front. We wait and do those ones last. Let's
We
build
can
up to
save.
those ones.
We can save those. How are we like? How's the scale working here? I know it's like the
So
basic like S
yep,
to F, but
S
like,
to F.
what's the criteria?
I guess criteria is slashability. So they're hence S. Uh, who would you prefer to be killed by? That is not going to
Oh,
be a part of this. That's not going to like go into the ranking, but like we need to talk about it. Uh and the other thing, like the biggest thing that I want to do is which character has the most presence, or in nowadays slang, aura, like which character has the most aura of these slasher villains.
okay. Okay. Okay.
So I feel like let's go from the bottom up. I feel like that would be a decent way to go. So let's start with Tiffany from the Chucky movies.
Tiffany. Okay. That's a. We're starting off with. She was introduced in Bride of Chucky.
Yep.
In a It's been a while since I watched that movie, but I do think for her first outing within the series, she did a relatively good job with her body count.
Okay. I agree. I personally was never a big fan of Tiffany. I think that she did fine. For her, like as you say, her first outing in the series. But I personally, she was very much like a mid-level character to me.
Uh, I guess I don't know. I'm just a big fan of Jennifer Tilly, so
That's completely fair.
I that putting that bias aside, if it's but we have to rank more than just the first outing because with her also being in every other product of Chucky, at least referenced in some way after it. Especially, I know I'm not sure if you watched the show.
I haven't watched the Chucky TV show yet, but I have planned on watching it. I just You were the one, that was the one that you told me to stop after a certain season, right? Or was that the
No, that
Scream TV show?
was the Scream TV show, which I find it funny that they used a photo from the TV show.
Yeah, but
But
like
it's okay.
we're gonna talk about Ghostface as a whole.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But with me having watched up through the TV show, I would like to say that Tiffany, uh, I'd like to put her in the A tier, just because if we're including everything all together and not just the first outing, she is such a fun character to watch through her films because she her personality wise is the polar opposite to Chucky.
Okay.
She's giddy out. She's like giddy, very happy. It's still maniacal, but it's very different of how maniacal it is compared to Chucky. Uh, Still very creepy, still very fun. So I definitely think it's an A tier for her.
See, me personally, I would put her in high B tier. Just because like I said, I was never really the biggest fan of Tiffany. For a movie that terrified me as a child, she felt like she was way too happy and go lucky. But that's also just me. I would say either high B tier or low A.
Okay. I can agree with. We can rearrange later, but I'll agree for high B tier for now.
Okay. So we got our first one on the list. Next one. I have no idea if you've seen this movie.
Ginger
This
Dead
The
Man.
Ginger Dead Man.
Uh,
See, for what it is for a stupid Christmas horror movie, uh, I mean it's mid. That's my personal opinion. I thought it was a mid movie when I watched it for the first time. I thought it was okay. It was entertaining. I'd put it as a solid C tier.
I feel like it's the tippy top of C tier because like the Ginger Dead Man, if I'm putting it on the scale of -10 to 10, that movie is like a -8.
That's fair. I put it at C tier purely for uh the amount of stupid shit that happens in the movie. It has a fair amount of rewatchability.
Yeah. I'm surprised with this list they have the Ginger Dead Man on here, but they don't have the Killer Bong.
So like of I added in a few that weren't on here that I saw on other lists that I felt like needed to make an appearance on this list. The Ginger Dead Man was initially on this list. So I am
You mean the Killer? Oh, so he was initially on this one?
yes.
Damn, that's a surprise. Then I wonder I'm wondering who they left out. Then.
Oh, there was another one that I was looking at that had like 280 different characters on it.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
Yeah, no. Ginger Dead Man Gary Busey plays the fucking role great in that movie, I believe.
Absolutely. I find it very entertaining. That's why I put it as a C tier. I feel like that's another thing that we should probably touch on for each of these characters in these movies is rewatchability. Because some horror movies, you watch it once and you're like, okay, yeah, I don't feel like I'll ever watch this again. But other ones, it's like, I know how I am and I know how you are. There are certain movies that you and I will watch multiple times just because we love the movies. So I feel like that's definitely
If you're
something.
listening, let us know if you want us to do an entire series of the Ginger Dead Man, because then we can also cover the crossover between Ginger Dead Man and Killer Bong, which exists for some
Absolutely.
ungodly reason.
Absolutely. If you want us to watch and talk about these movies, you'll definitely have to mention it to us. Write it in the comments down below, or send us a message on Instagram at Tombstone Productions. So our next character, we have Jack from The Shining.
Uh, S tier.
S tier. I could not agree more. I feel
Jack
like
Nicholson
I feel
is
like there is
50.
going to be lower S tier. Like he's going to be on the lower end of S tier because I feel like there are certain ones that will be above him, in my personal opinion. But he is
There's
100% an S tier.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some people ahead of him, but I don't think he's gonna be the very bottom. But all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and if it'd be criminal to put Jack Nicholson,
Anywhere
Jack Nicholson,
besides S.
yeah. Which fun fact? Did you know that Stephen King hated Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining?
Yes, I did know that. It's the
And
there's a lot of nods to it in multiple different media. In the movie Ready Player One, and I believe it's also mentioned in the book, but it's been a long time since I've read the book. Uh,
and
One of the
yeah,
things
like
is like the creator that hated their own creation, and it was talking about The Shining.
not even his own creation. He just hates Stanley Kubrick's movie.
Yeah,
So Stephen King wrote a script, and they made a 3-part TV series of The Shining. And Jack Nicholson in that one is played by. Hang on, I gotta look it up real quick.
See, I haven't watched the 3-part TV series, so I definitely still
It's
have to watch that.
it's nowhere near as good as the movie, but it has a couple of things that shine through. But come on, please
Is
pull
it
up.
like is it like same kind of mini series as like the original Pennywise?
Yeah, it's 3 episodes, and in the here it is. But they got um Steven Weber to play Jack
Oh,
in it.
oh, cool. Yeah,
And
I definitely still have to watch it. Like I know that you're saying that it's not as good as the movie, but still, I'm gonna watch it because I really enjoy The Shining.
yeah, it's definitely something to watch at some point because Steven Weber actually doesn't do a bad. It's a different direction that's closer to the book because obviously Stephen King wrote it, but it's definitely worth a watch to watch his a much closer take on on John or Jack in the show.
Gotcha. So, moving on to our next one, we have our one classic monster on this list. We have Count
Okay,
Dracula.
all right. Um, ooh, he. It's one of those cases where it's an early thing, so it kind of set a foundation for a bunch of other stories. So it's a classic in its own right. So a part of me wants to say that this is probably very. I want to say this is going to have to be something like it's a foundation. I think this is our highest B tier because it is a foundation.
You know what? I actually completely agree with you on that. I would say B tier, either middle or high, just because like, Count Dracula, this is from the original Dracula movie. This was the first like movie adaptation of any kind of vampire Dracula story specifically cuz obviously the first adaptation of a vampire was Nosferatu. But I would 100% say that this is high B tier.
Yeah, and that's trying to remember the actor who played because this is 1931.
Yeah, this is like in 6 years it's gonna be 100 years old,
Yeah,
which is insane to think about.
the Todd the Todd Browning movie where it was played by who played Dracula in the original one?
I don't know off the top of my head, honestly.
Bella is it Bella Lugosi is the last name. Lugosi played Count Dracula on that one.
Okay,
I just can't remember his first name. And then it also had Edward Van Sloan as Van Helsing in it.
yes. The hold on, I just pulled up at the IMDb. Yeah, Bella Lugosi. That was the yeah. Bela Lugosi is the guy that played the original Dracula, which is really freaking cool if you ask me. Like if
You know, it really is. Yeah, it's a foundational character. And especially in horror, we kind of got a lot of stuff. You know, without Dracula, you generally wouldn't have characters like fucking uh Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, or anything like that without those classic horror characters existing.
Yeah, and I completely agree, which is why I feel like it definitely has to be a higher ranked like on this list.
Yeah.
So our next one on this list is another personal favorite of mine. We have Norman Bates from Psycho.
Ooh, yes. This is another case of being an Alfred Hitchcock movie. Uh, ooh. It's another situation of it being a foundation. This is like the foundational slasher character.
See, for me, Norman Bates he immediately goes in A.
I think he does have to be an A
Like
because
he is just such a prevalent character. Plus, recently I started watching the Bates Motel show, which I've been yelled at to watch for years, and I'm finally taking the time to watch it. So, but I'm quite enjoying the Bates Motel so far. I just finished season 1.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, I definitely have to agree with that A tier ranking for him. He, like I said, it's foundational slasher character. You know, this is another case without him, we wouldn't have Michael Myers, Ghostface, Leatherface.
Pretty much
Oh,
any slasher, like
yeah.
without Psycho, that like Psycho was the springboard that kind of gave us the slasher kick. And I
Yeah,
feel
it's not.
like without him it just wouldn't, like, more than likely we would have still gotten some kind of adaptation of some kind of slashers, but like we wouldn't have the classics like we do.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't. And it's genuinely just, you know, you got to put respect on the name.
Absolutely. So next up we got Art the Clown from the Terrifier franchise.
Um,
I know you know how I feel about this franchise, so
yeah,
I'm gonna let you talk.
I would say just because of other characters in this, because they've been around longer, and art probably has more character than a couple of these ones that are left. But there's just a few other out there that significantly pop through a bit more in my mind. So I would say I want to say he's under Jack Torrance because I put quotability of like you can mimic the actions of art, but there's no real quotability from him.
Okay, so you're saying he's S tier.
He's S tier, but he's below Jack.
Okay, I fucking completely agree with you on that. I adored the Terrifier movies. I really liked them. I'm looking forward to Terrifier 4, which was announced, and we have a bittersweet announcement for it that it will more than likely be the last Terrifier movie, which is bittersweet because I think that 4 movies is plenty. As much as I would love to see more of Art the Clown and all of that, I feel like if they keep going, if they make more, it's like we're gonna end up getting like a Halloween H2O type thing.
Listen, Halloween H2O is good. The one that you gotta worry about is it going Halloween Resurrection.
That too.
Because next thing you know, they're gonna invite some weird random rapper, which nowadays would be somebody like you wouldn't even get Ludacris in
They'd
this
invite
movie.
like big what the hell is his name? Young Gravy or some shit to be in Terrifier.
You would get Young Gravy and Terrifier.
And
That's what you would get.
I don't want that. So I feel like stopping at 4 is perfect, especially since they're talking about coming diving into more of the backstory of Art and where he originated from and like all this stuff, and I feel like that's just going to be perfect. I really feel like it could not be any better as a
Yeah.
as a finale for the Terrifier franchise.
Yeah. Probably best timing too after some recent comments made
Yeah,
by the director of the series.
yeah. So
But moving on, we got Sam.
yes, Sam from the Trick or Treat movie.
I want to say because he doesn't take up as much screen time as compared to some of these other ones because he plays a part in an anthology series. I think he's high A tier.
High A tier.
Yeah, I think he's high A tier just because he doesn't get the full screen time like some of these other characters here.
See, for me, I really enjoy the Trick or Treat movie. It's probably one of my favorite anthology horror movies that there is. Um, but I personally would put Sam at high B.
IB. Oh wow.
High B, and that's purely because, like you said, there are other characters on this list. Literally, I pretty much every other character on this list. They are in the movie for a huge portion of the movie. Whereas Sam, you see him a little bit at the beginning, and then like little sprinkle here and there, and then the end. And I feel like that's just like it kind of takes away from him as a character. If we had an entire movie that was just about Sam, I feel like it would like he would be an A tier, but for me, I would
Okay.
put him in B.
Okay, I can agree with that.
I would put him above Dracula though.
Above Dracula. Oh, okay. Okay.
And that's just because as I do love Sam. So next
Right.
up we have the lady from the grunge. I can never remember how to say her
Is that the
name.
grunge? That looks like it's from The Ring.
It
Slightly
might.
just be.
Oh no, that is from the Ring. Yeah,
It's Samara from The Ring because of
Samara.
the yeah, Samara. Um Probably it is a ripoff of the grunge because of the original how there was like Ringu and the Grudge movies, and they actually had a crossover between. I haven't watched the Grudge at all, either the original or the Western remake. I've seen the Ringu movies and The Ring. I would say, ooh, just because of how bad the remake was, I'm saying C tier and below Ginger Dead Man.
You want to know what? I will agree with you on that one. The Ring. I've only seen the original one because I heard how bad the remake was. Uh, and so I just didn't even watch it. And I feel like that to me is a huge knock off the character. Like if you do a remake of the movie and it is just notoriously so bad that I can't bring myself to watch it, it immediately knocks the character down.
Yeah. The worst part is the fact is I don't think you can adapt the Ring story to anything past DVDs because the entire idea of the internet. Because the problem is it's all going to become poorly aged stuff when you make anything in about the internet age because the internet age moves so much faster than any other form of media that we've seen nowadays that we've seen in the past.
Oh, absolutely. Like with
What's
social media nowadays, like if the Ring video was real, one, nobody like almost nobody has a fucking VHS anymore or a fucking like nobody has that. So nobody's going to ever fucking see it. They adapt it and move it over to fucking, you know, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, TikTok or whatever. Everybody is going to see it and everybody will die. Like that is just
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean the entire it's just basically gonna be a movie about fucking copy pasting because the entire point is you're essentially passing the curse down. It will come. It's supposed to come back to you like in a list or so, kind of like how the Final Destination death system works,
yeah.
where once she starts picking off people and killing, unless you basically share the video or make a copy of the video in some way and share it, and that's how you get the next. That's how you put someone else in front of you. But and then that's why I said in the internet age that just becomes a movie about here's it's remember what the times when people would like put Facebook posts like if you don't share like and
Yeah.
uh and jerk off to this post you're gonna find this creepy girl outside your window and it's like
Yeah.
what the hell.
Yeah, I do remember those. They never worried me, and they especially don't worry me now because honestly, if somebody was outside my window, I'd be kind of impressed considering that I don't live on the bottom floor of my building. But
Exactly.
I'd be kind of impressed, but if they were just floating there, then I'd be like, what the fuck? And I would just
uh
lock my window. Like, okay. So on to our next character, we have Predator. This is one that is going to be all on you. I have only ever seen the original Predator movie, and that's it.
uh where do you put it? The thing is with the Predator, it's another case where it's not as quotable because everything around the character is quotable because uh, I'm gonna mispronounce it. How it ya Yauchi is the like species name for the predators.
Yeah.
It's S tier. I'm just trying to figure out. It's not Jack. It's not above Jack, but I'm trying to figure out. I think it's behind Art because of the original movies and the time they were made. The kills aren't nearly as detailed. There's some pretty cool ones because, it's basically super strong, somehow primitive, but also technologically advanced alien is fucking up these action heroes.
Yeah. And like
So,
That's my big thing with the Predator movies, or the Predator movie that I've seen, because I've only ever seen the first one. Like, it was cool, it was interesting, but like you're saying, there was no real like quotability or like want for me to
So
watch more past there.
there's quotability, just not from the Predator itself.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in that fucking movie, people will quote his lines forever.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
freaking, uh, I ain't got time to bleed. By Jesse Ventura in that movie, as he's literally shot and I believe he's bleeding quite a bit.
Yeah.
Man, I that movie. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. You don't have to worry about any other movie. You can watch Prey because Prey was also cool.
Okay.
That
They're
one was really
they're
good.
on my list. I know that I'll watch them eventually, but like there are a ton of other movies that I would rather watch beforehand.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
So next up we have Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies.
Oh, I have only watched the first two movies and seen bits and pieces of every series of every movie after this. When it comes to Pinhead, personally, he is iconic. About he has an iconic look. He has some quotable lines. I generally think he might be the either tippy top of our A tier or the bottom of our S tier.
I would put him in A tier, and you know that's from my experience of watching the first two Hellraiser movies, as well as meeting one of the guys that played Pinhead, uh,
That's fair.
which was really cool, and I have his autograph and shit on like a pop Funko of Pinhead, which is cool. So I would put him in A tier. Would you put him? You would put him above Norman Bates, or you'd put him
I
underneath?
would put him above Norman Bates just because also the above him just because Hellbound Heart is also a really good story.
Okay, I can completely agree with you on that. That one's
Clive
a
Barker, Clive Barker, Clive Barker. I do love you. I love your writing. So
So next up we have the chick from The Exorcist,
oh yes,
Pazuzu or whatever the fuck the demon's name was.
yeah. Well, the girl's name is Reagan. Just because I was mortified by the crucifix scene, um, put her. I would say she's definitely the staple possessed story. I would say she's A tier.
I'd say she's A tier, but underneath Norman.
Yeah,
Like just because like when people think of like horror movies, like my grandparents have talked to me about like when The Exorcist came out and they went and saw it in theaters. It was the scariest fucking thing that they had ever seen.
that's
And
fair.
I remember sitting down and watching it with them for the first time and just being like, this is not scary.
To be fair, I think a big part of all that too is generally you have to like hunt down a way to watch the movie like how it was edited in theaters
Yes.
because a lot of the modern release of the movie and what's been shown on TV, like Billy says, edited it was edited for television, so all the good stuff was cut out. Some of the good stuff was cut out
Yeah.
in other
But
releases.
like my other thing for it is like going back and watching like old classic horror movies. There sometimes on rare occasions they are legitimately scarier than new age horror movies. And the only reason that I say that new age are scarier is because effects have gotten better. Cameras have gotten better. Things look more realistic. And I like that shit, which is one of the reasons why I really adored Art the Clown. It is just so brutal and gruesome and I fucking love that shit.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Which is why to me The Exorcist was a good movie, but it just wasn't that scary. Which I know is a hot take for a lot of people. So,
Hey, I'm just saying it's a bitch to find the right one to watch.
oh, I agree.
And moving on to our next big boy over here, the staple, I think, of American monster movies. We
You
got,
you want to hear my hot take on this and then you can argue why I'm wrong? This is a D tier movie for me.
You are so incorrect on
This is D tier for me. I just like I never found the joy in Jaws. Like I don't mind it as a movie. I enjoy it for what it is, but it just wasn't it for me.
See, that's fine, but genuinely, again, with this being an older movie, this is a movie that quite literally got people to avoid swimming in waters, got kids to avoid swimming in waters if their parents show them simple scenes of it.
And I understand that, and that's why I don't put it in F.
I'm just saying, I definitely don't think it belongs in the D tier for the sole purpose that once again put some respect on a good director's name for his early works,
You
Steven
want to know?
Spielberg.
You want to know what? I will put some respect in it. I'd give it a high C, but I wouldn't go higher than that.
All right, I can quietly rage and agree with the high C tier.
Like I'd put him above the Ginger Dead Man. It's just like to me, like it's a shark.
It's a great white shark.
Yeah, congratulations. We have had so many movies of great white shark attacks and shit. And it's just they
And
never
this
they
one
never do it
started it
for me.
all.
I understand that this one started it all, and that's why I'm saying that overall, objectively, it is a good movie, but it's just not it for me. It just doesn't do it. Which is why I put it so low.
And that's why I said I will be a silent rage at the high C tier.
So next up we got Hannibal Lecter from the Silence of the Lamb movie. And the Hannibal movies, obviously.
I want to say that. How do I want to say it's S tier. And I want to put him above art.
I completely agree with you on it. The only reason that I'm a little faltery with it is same reason for Sam. Like we don't see Hannibal a ton in the first installment of the movie. Like the first
Yes,
installment of the movie, it's about Buffalo Bill.
yes, but the screen time he does get
The
is
presence that
entirely
this man gives off.
this. When you said about aura, this man has the aura.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And that's why I will not argue about putting him at a C tier. Or at an S tier, I mean. Sorry. He is an S tier. He deserves S tier. He belongs there. Like I the Hannibal Lecter movies, I've always really enjoyed them. I loved Silence of the Lambs when I first watched it. And the young Hannibal movie, when I watched that one for the first time, the horse scene, that shit stays with me. It
Oh,
still is in my head. I haven't watched that movie since I was like 14, and I still randomly think about that because it's just there. It is something that I saw that I cannot unsee.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair.
The man, like, he just, when anything about Hannibal Lecter, he carries so much weight in how he talks, the way that he presents himself. He is like
He speaks with cunning and ferocity all at the same time.
yes, and like the quotability for fucking Hannibal. The quotability, dude. Like the friggin' hello Clarice. Like it's right there. It's so easy. I say that shit randomly all the time. It's so
Yeah.
good. So yeah, I
Uh,
completely agree. He is 100% an S tier.
all right. And next we got
Spike from the Gremlins movie. He's another one that is low for me.
Genuinely, I just because I blame the Gremlins for spawning off more hellspawns such as minions and stuff. I don't think it's F. I do think it's D.
I think that it's D. Like I enjoy the Gremlins movie. Like overall, like I think that Gizmo is a great fucking character. I think he's adorable. but like, eh, it's just like I agree. It spawned off shit like the fucking Minions, and did Critters come before or after Gremlins?
Oh god,
I'm
might
pretty
have been
sure it
after.
came after, and so we got Critters from these fuckers. So I 100% agree that is a fucking D tier. If we had Critters, I would put Critters in F.
Yeah, Critters came 2 years after. It was 84 for Gremlins and 86 for Critters.
Yeah. Like hell no to that. I'm gonna move him up a little bit. We're gonna do these ones first.
Okay.
Then we'll move to the big group. So next up we have the Xenomorph from Aliens.
He's right up there next to the Predator.
Oh, I completely
Uh,
agree.
they are hand in hand. They are the genetic perfect weapons. These things. Let's just say it. If you, as a human, if you found yourself in the situation against one of them, you ain't winning.
No, you're not winning. And like like I put Alien above Predator. That's me personally. I have finally watched the Aliens movies, at
Good.
least a few of them. I watched Alien and Aliens. I watched the
Okay.
first, second, and then maybe the third. I can't remember.
You don't
But
have to watch the third. You don't have to watch the one after that.
but
You
I
can watch the most recent one that came out though.
Romulus.
Yeah, Romulus.
But I put the Xenomorph above it because even before I watched these movies, I knew what the fucking Xenomorph was.
Exactly.
Like,
It's a like our time playing freaking Mortal Kombat X. These things are pop culture staples.
oh, absolutely. I completely agree with you. So jumping on to our next character, we have I can never remember this dude's name, but he's the
Uh,
fucking clown from a House of a Thousand
Captain
Corpses.
Spaulding.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Yeah, Captain Spaulding, played by Sid Sid Haig. Sid Haig,
Sid
I
Haig,
think.
yeah.
Uh, one of the funniest killers I can think of, just because of how I remember having the DVD of A House of Thousand Corpses, and he's just berating the viewer. He's like, "If you don't pick one of these goddamn options, I'm gonna put my boot up your ass."
No, I agree. I feel like he's a great killer. Like I wish we saw him more. So to me, he's a B tier.
That's fair. He wasn't that. He wasn't largely in much of A House of Thousand Corpses, but kind of turns it all around when he's in the Devil's Rejects. And unfortunately, Three from Hell, the third movie in that series, didn't. He was in a little bit of it, but his untimely passing made us that way. We weren't able to see him.
See, I would put him here. I would put him in between Dracula and Tiffany.
No, that's a fair point. I think.
Like I feel like that's a good spot for him. It's a solid spot in a like a solid pick. Like it's a good spot.
Yeah.
So next
Yep.
up
I can agree with that.
we have Sam from right? Isn't his name Sam?
Bill. Billy.
Bill. Oh,
But
right.
it's the representation of Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Which are we just counting the doll or the character of Jigsaw himself in
So
this?
that's the thing. It's the representation. So we have to talk like it has to it's Jigsaw, it's John Kramer, it's Bill. Like it's both.
Because I'm just saying, if I was like knocked out by someone dressed as a pig, woke up in a weirdly dark lit room, and there's a CRT in front of me that's telling me I have to cut out my own tongue or do some other shit like that, and it's all told to me by this little shit, even just by that self, that's pretty creepy.
Oh,
And
I completely agree.
and you want to play a game.
Nice.
It it
That was a good imitation of it.
it's just good. It's just good. Like, as much as I might hate anything after Saw, like 3 up to like Jigsaw, because I count Spiral as its own thing because it's hilarious to watch.
Oh, I
Chris
completely
Rock in it.
agree. Spiral was fucking great. But no, I agree with you. Like Saw 1, 2, and 3, great movies. I really loved them. Like
Yeah.
they're just they
But
carry a lot
because
of weight with it.
yeah. But because the traps are more of the um what's the word I'm looking for here?
Killing devices.
Not the killing devices, but they're kind of the attraction within these movies. I think it's the highest A tier because it just doesn't break into S tier.
Oh, that's a solid spot. I completely agree with you on it. This like watching the first three Saw movies when I was younger, like they are formative. Like watching this shit for the first time when you're like really young, it holds to you.
Yeah,
And even some of the traps from later movies, like they hold, like I still remember them. Like I remember the dude fucking stabbing himself through the throat so he could breathe because of the fucking water coffin.
yeah,
Like,
I remember that's fair. Like that's the thing though. The traps are the thing are a bit more memorable than the quotes, but that's just because he doesn't speak that much, and you're kind of watching a bunch of dumbasses, some pretty bad people out there in the world do some stupid things.
yeah, and I mean, by far, like as you so greatly stated it, the best quote from this movie, the most quotable thing from this franchise is, "Do you want to play a game?" Like it is that plain, simple, straight up, nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say at the end of the first movie? Like, game over.
I don't. Does he say game over at the end of the first movie?
He says something like that when he shuts the door on the dude in the room.
He might. It's been a long time since I've watched the Saw movies. I still haven't seen Saw X. That's still on my list of a movie to watch. But with how the Saw movies kind of started falling off after 3, like I wasn't really in the biggest like rush to watch it.
Yeah, I still have to watch 10. I haven't got around to watching it yet.
Yeah, so do I. That's what I'm talking about with Saw X. Um, but I mean, it like overall, it's an iconic character. You see the mask of Bill. You know what the movie is. You know where it's from,
Oh yeah, yeah,
whether you've seen it or not. You hear, "Do you want to play a game?" It's notable. It's rememberable. You know where it is, what it's from. So next up, we have the next
F tier,
doll on
F
our
tier,
list.
F tier, F tier, F tier, F tier.
I'm not even gonna fucking argue. I hated the Annabelle movies.
I just don't like the Conjuring universe.
I liked the
Like,
first Conjuring movie. The first one, I thought it was a solid movie. But everything past there has just been fucking continuous hell.
yeah, I just hate it. I literally just hate the series. I can't think of a genuine movie I like about it. Mostly because I hate Ed and Lorraine because they are two of the biggest cons in the entire history of America.
Oh, you're not wrong. So let's not get caught up and go on a fucking long ass tangent about it. It's an F. It's F. We know
F
that.
tier.
That is where it fucking belongs. We got Chucky.
This man is. I'm putting him above S tier, above Jack, because fun kills throughout the majority of the movies.
I agree.
Unquotes,
Absolutely.
iconic voice.
Iconic voice, fun quote, iconic fucking character design. Like everything about Chucky just radiates "I'm gonna kill you" aura, and I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, man has 6 foot. Nah, man has 7 foot aura, both in doll body and regular body.
Absolutely.
Brad Dourif, you would just have an amazing voice, and I still find it crazy. And in the show, when you watch it, they show a younger, like a living Chucky in the first season, and it's played by his daughter, and it looks so scary. Like they look so scarily like when she's like dressed up in the full outfit, like how he looked like when he died in the opening of the first movie.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I definitely have to watch this series. It's on my list. It's something that I've been planning on doing. I just haven't gotten around to it. Next up, we have Leatherface.
Ooh. He's honestly, he's just outside of the big three from that era because because he came out around the same time um, as Michael within the Halloween movies.
I agree. See, for me, Leatherface, he sits at top of A. Like he sits above Bill and John Kramer. He sits above the Saw characters. I just put him at A because Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I enjoyed them as like I enjoyed them, but they're not my favorite movies. Like
Yeah,
there's a little bit of rewatchability. There's not a lot of quotes. Like he's not like Leatherface isn't really a
that
quotable character.
hear me out. Hear me out. Bottom of S tier for the sole reason of his like Art the Clown, the chainsaw dances that he does throughout all the movies are iconic.
You know what? You are completely right. I have to remember the chainsaw dances. They are iconic as fuck. So I agree. I will put him at bottom. I will concede and put him at bottom of S tier. I feel as though the dances with the chainsaw are iconic. The human flesh mask is iconic as well. But I don't know. It's one of those things that I feel like there are more relatable, more quotable, more notable characters. Not by much. It's not by a big margin, but I would definitely put him top of A or bottom of S.
Fair enough. I feel like the next two we kind of have to do together.
Oh,
Bec-
absolutely. The biggest reason that I have both of these on here because originally they only had the Bill Skarsgård Pennywise. I added in the oh my god, why can I not remember his name? Curry. What the
yeah,
hell
Tim
is
Curry.
his Tim Curry? Jesus.
Tim Curry. It's Tim Curry.
Uh
And
but I put them on. I put him on here because when you talk about one, you got to talk about the other. They are the two that played the killer clown of Pennywise. They're both notable characters. They're because they are the same character. They both did great performances of it. There are big differences between both of them.
yes. Um big thing is, one was made for TV. It's more tame in the visual aspects of thing, and it also came out in 1990. The TV series did.
I'm pretty sure it was 1990 or it was
Yeah,
in the
like
90s.
yeah. So this is real early. This is like early TV. It was a big deal. It was like it was the first Stephen King adaptation. And although I would argue that when you put part one and part two of the newer movies together, they are a better story because it's better when you tell like the story from the kids and then you tell it from their adult perspectives on the situation instead of keeping jumping back and forth and back and forth.
I agree with you on that. See, for
Tim
me,
Curry as Tim Curry as Pennywise makes more sense of why he's a clown than why Pennywise is a clown in the newer versions with Bill Skarsgård.
like you were saying, like Bill or Jesus, Tim Curry's Pennywise. It was meant for TV. It's more tame. I understand that it's not as hoary, it's not as gory, it's not as scary and shit. I The biggest thing that I remember about Tim Curry's Pennywise, the last time I watched through it, uh, it was a rewatch, and all I could think of is, oh my god, why was I scared of him when I was little? And then, the more that I watched, I was like, oh, it's because he gives off "I'm gonna touch you" vibes.
I mean, you're
I don't
not
know. I don't know
wrong.
if it's just I like. I don't want to. I don't want to be mean. Like Tim Curry is a great actor. I love him as an actor. But his Pennywise, I just like camp counselor vibes. Like,
You're not you're not wrong, but in a realistic sense here, as a child, which clown are you most like? And his job to achieve is to get these kids in like take them and consume them or whatever the fuck it does. Tim Curry is more appealing to a child from the looks.
Oh, I do
Whereas,
agree with you on that. Tim Curry's Pennywise is definitely more appealing and like alluring to children. Um even though he gives off a Catholic priest vibe, but uh
also, going back to quotability, Tim Curry's is far more quotable than Bill Skarsgård's.
see, I think that both of them are really quotable.
They are really quotable. It's just that Tim Curry, kiss me, that boy.
See, for me, like whenever I think of Pennywise lines, all I can think of is Bill Skarsgård's "Hiya, Georgie."
But that's the problem. That's the only one you can think of. That's the
Like,
only one I can think of.
yeah, but that's not the only line that I think of from Bill Skarsgård, but that's the one that I think of immediately when I think of either of the Pennywises.
Not really, because I always think of, excuse me, sir, do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out. Waha, waha, waha.
That's fair.
Excuse me, ma'am, is your refrigerator on? It is. Well, you better go catch it before it runs away. Waha, waha, waha.
Yeah, that is true. I would put like me personally, I would put both of them top of A tier. And
Okay,
that's
I can agree with that.
like I'd put Tim Curry's above Bill Skarsgård because of, original, he was the first, visual adaptation of Pennywise. Um but I would put them both at A. I feel like that's a solid spot for them. It's a understandable spot. And it just both of them have their own je ne sais quoi, or however you want to fucking say it, uh, of these that for the portrayals of these characters. Bill Skarsgård's, in my opinion, is in way more freaky than fucking Tim Curry's.
I
But that's
guess.
me.
That's fair. I'm just putting Tim Curry above him because it makes more sense of why he is a clown.
Yes, I will give that to you.
I'm putting actual logic into this one.
Fair. So next up, I already know where I want to put Ghostface.
I mean, yeah, it is the top of the S tier right
Yeah,
now.
like he's it's so good, and like there is only one of the Scream movies that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and it was Scream 3.
All right, all right. I mean,
And
that's a pretty understandable and pretty popular opinion.
like I still loved the movie. I still love the series. It's probably my favorite fucking horror series. And but no horror movie that has come out that the killer is more relatable, uh, like funny
Oh,
but
you say this
also
now.
menacing.
Careful how you say this now, because next thing you know, tomorrow morning they're gonna be knocking on your door.
What do you mean?
They go knock knock, and then all of a sudden your ass is like in the loony bin for some reason.
Okay, wait. I don't mean. Hold on. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. I mean it as like a lot of other horror movies, like in here, Chucky, possessed doll, fucking Hannibal Lecter, insane cannibal guy, fucking Art the Clown, demon question mark, creepy fucking clowns that are also like eldritch beasts, this is all fucking and then you have Ghostface that's just a regular fucking guy with a knife.
No, literally it is, and that's what's scary about it because the movies are rooted in logic. For now, I have been unfortunately spoiled to some casting that I wish I was kept secret to.
Which cast for 7 are you talking about?
I don't want to say it in case of others out there have the luck to say it to avoid watching.
Okay, for those that don't want to know, skip the next 10 seconds. What is it?
Yeah, we'll put it. Travis can put a timestamp in here. Matthew Lillard is
Oh yeah, I already knew about that.
teased. I knew you already knew about it because I had to ruin it for you since I wasn't the only one.
Oh, I knew about it before you sent it to me.
You probably did, but still. And then they also announced the actor that played Roman has been casted in the movie.
Yep,
3.
I did see that as well.
How that's gonna work? Man had literally had a cat put in his head.
See, the thing that I'm thinking, maybe like kind of how they brought back Billy.
Billy, that's the only way I can think of it. It's gonna work.
Like the
Maybe
only the
six.
only the only killer that we've had as a Ghostface that it would be okay if they came back is Matthew Lillard's, because they didn't show us a body.
I mean, they did not show us a body.
They didn't show us a body. They never confirmed that he was actually dead.
Well, they did in six. They did the swerve. They put up deceased in the 1996, and then later you had Mindy and Kirby talk about it, and Mindy dropped like if you actually think he's dead line. So that kind of covers the tracks slightly. I don't know. His family was rich. Maybe they put him into some weird
Hiding place.
secret
Yeah.
hiding place. Kind of like what's that what's that thing called that when people like get involved with the crimes they get put into
Uh
witness protection.
yeah, witness protection shit. But like to me, like Ghostface, he's just a great killer. And I love the fact that, in the biggest reason that I didn't like 3 was the fact that there was only one killer. Because like
No,
that was
that's
the whole thing with Ghostface, is that there's always two of them. They work as a group so that one of them can take the heat off the other one and all this other shit.
to be fair, that movie was plagued by plan changes and scheduling issues. So
Yeah. But like also quotability for this movie. Like
yeah,
it's there. It's right fucking there. There's a reason that when they made Scary Movie, the first one they made is a spoof of fucking Scream.
makes us screaming. I know what you did last summer.
Yeah. But it's like, what's your favorite horror movie? Or what's your favorite scary movie, I mean? And like, mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. Like it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
It generally is really good on the quotability sense. It's a bit terrifying because it's more grounded in reality for the most part until three. Nowadays, three makes more sense, but in 2000, it didn't make as much sense.
Fair.
Voice changes didn't work like that back in the day.
So now let's move on to our big three, which I'm pretty sure I know where the big three are going. But what's the order of the big three? So let's start with Jason.
Ooh, silent. Probably, I say he does the silent killer better than Michael, just because Jason is a bit more versatile with how he kills people. Michael's still quite versatile in all the movies he's in, but most of the time it's just an assortment of kitchen knives from Michael. So I want to put Freddy probably or no, I want to put Jason in the middle of the two.
In the middle?
Yeah, out of the big three, he's in the middle. I'm putting Freddy at the tippy top.
All right, that's my fucking man.
This
I agree. I agree
welcome
with
to
this
prime
layout.
time.
The quotability of Freddy, he's always been one of my favorite fucking horror characters. I'm literally wearing my Freddy sweater right now. Like he's just, it's so good. He's rememberable. You see his face, you see his claw, you see the fucking pattern on his shirt, and you know who this man is.
Exactly. I just bought the 4K of the first movie. I'm hoping we get an entire series, especially with the Steelbook's art cover, looking like old rentable VHS tapes. I love the design on this.
I
Very
will
nice
say
Steelbook.
Robert did show me the steelbook cover for it. It looks amazing. If you guys if you guys like Freddy Krueger, go buy it. It's so good.
I'm gonna watch it here soon. Maybe here, hopefully soon.
Oh, when you go
When
to
I have the
watch it,
time.
like you tell me when, I will be there.
I'll invite you over when I watch it.
Like I will fucking be there to watch that bitch in 4K. Oh my god. But so like for me, I agree with this order. I put Michael at the bottom of the top 3. He's notable, he's rememberable. The mask is fucking, like, you see the mask, you know who it is. It makes a lot of sense and I love it. He's scary, he's the creep factor is there. But like you said, Jason does the silent killer better.
Yeah.
He's
As as much as his movies probably are a bit more neutered because of when they came out and stuff.
True.
I it's still just much more. I think it's much more fun to watch a Friday the 13th movie. Even the latter ones, which get arguably weirder and worse, is better
Jason
than
Takes
watching.
Manhattan.
It's on a boat for the majority of the movie. You can't say it's in Manhattan. He's only in Manhattan for half of the third act. Damn it.
No, but I agree. Like the Friday the 13th movies are objectively more fun to watch. Like they are. I mean, even like the first fucking movie where Jason's not the killer.
I mean, I will argue though, Halloween had a better first movie, John Carpenter,
I
than the
agree.
first movie in Friday the 13th. Because the problem with Friday the 13th nowadays is in comparison to a lot of things, its pacing is really slow.
Oh yeah,
The first
100%.
Halloween, the first Halloween does it much better. The second Friday the 13th is also probably it all balances out at some point because just of how the latter Halloween movies, besides the Blumhouse movies, I actually quite like that entire trilogy. I think it's good. You can crucify me later because I say Halloween Ends is good. I'm not
I
talking to you, Trev. I'm
enjoyed.
talking to them.
I was gonna say I enjoyed Halloween Ends too. You can crucify both of us. Like, but no, I agree. Like the first Halloween movie, like the pacing is good for the movie. Like obviously, it's an older movie. The pacing could be better. Some people have problems with the pacings of older horror movies, but
Yeah.
objectively, the pacing of the first Friday the 13th is weird, and it's not great, but it's still a great movie. But
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Even like Michael, he is known for just the mask, the knife, and the jumpsuit. Like that is always what he's in. It never changes. Whereas
The mask
Jason,
changes. The
the
mask
mask
changes every now and
changes.
then, slightly in design. It kind of looks creepy, a little creepy at some points.
Yes, it changes very slightly, but it's still the same mask.
Yeah.
It's just charred or burned or whatever. But then you got Jason, who has multiple different masks, and honestly, most of the masks I think look really fucking cool. Uh, we've had how many video games of Friday the 13th?
Um, there's only been there's the NES classic, and then there's the origin, and then there's the one that unfortunately got shot down due to fucking legal reasons.
Yes,
Thanks
but
out
which
there in the world.
which sucks, and I fucking am very sad that it got shut down.
I mean,
But
technically, we recently got a Slaughterhouse style 2D like brawler Halloween game, but it's not the same as something like the asymmetrical game the Friday the 13th movie was.
yeah, and like even like you know like you brought up the Xenomorph and Predator in Mortal Kombat. Jason is in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he was in Mortal Kombat 10. Freddy was a 9.
Yeah. Like, has Michael ever been in a Mortal Kombat?
No,
I'm
but
just saying.
there's possibility.
Yeah, there's a possibility for it, but it's just Jason, in my opinion, a better killer than Michael Myers. And Freddy, I agree with him being at the very top of this list. He's solid. He is a solid horror character villain. He does it great. He plays the role immaculately. I feel like this is a pretty good list. I know that you have at least one that you do not agree with at all.
Yeah, no, the Jaws one I don't agree with, and the one I do think just because of the TV series and everything that takes place after when she was first thrown in here, I think Tiffany could be just a little higher up.
You know what? I would give this to you. Like I would put Tiffany above uh
Okay,
House of a
I'll
Thousand
take it.
Corpses clown. Cause just
I'll take it.
but I feel like this is a good list. This is our list and we can't miss cuz it's ours. So fuck off. If you don't agree with us, write in the comments what you like, which ones you don't agree with, and where you would have put them. Slaughter me, fucking crucify me and shit because I didn't like the Jaws movies. Whatever.
Oh,
Uh,
I'll take care of that later.
so I mean, I feel like that's the episode. I mean, it's our tier list episode. More than likely there will probably be another tier list at some point because I have at least two other ones that I was thinking about doing. It was in between this and two other ones, so we'll probably do another tier list or two here and there and just scatter them in there. Uh, but Rob, take us out.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the graveyard. As you can see, we kind of stapled up a couple things here. Just imagine this. These are each on their own tombstone. Just very tall ones, though. But thank you for joining us. Have a safe trip on the way out. And remember, everybody, don't be an asshole.
Agreed. Don't be an asshole. See you next week. Have a good one, everybody.